Hey, it's the preacher. We've kind of been on a deer processing kick lately, and we're going to carry that theme on because we got deer to process. And so somebody, I don't remember who, and I apologize, but I do remember their comment. They said, would you show us your process for running the Food Saver vacuum sealer? And I've said in previous videos, the only thing I regret about the vacuum sealer is that I waited like 42 years to get it. Now, I'm telling you this just in time. Real time Thanksgiving is this coming week. And I bought mine the day after Thanksgiving online. You could probably get it, what is that, Cyber Monday or whatever. This was like a $200 Food Saver, and I got it for 74 bucks, one of them online Black Friday deals. And so if you're thinking about getting a Food Saver, you're coming up on prime time. Between now and Christmas, you're going to find them at amazing deals. And so that's what I did. I bought it then, and I really, really, really like it. I wish I'd have bought it a long time ago. Anyways, what I'm going to process today is deer meat, ground deer meat specifically. I'm going to show you my process, maybe some little tips and tricks that will help you get the most out of your Food Saver vacuum. So I ground this deer meat with a KitchenAid attachment. And I've got a scale that I'm going to turn on and set to take the weight of the bowl off. So there we're zeroed out. And you want to use some form of measurement for your ground meat. I mean, with steaks, whatever you cut off, that's what the steak is. But with ground, you either want to go with size measurement like cups of meat. I prefer pounds, and I prefer 1.5 pounds per bag. And then when I'm doing ground meat, you can get an 11-inch, but I prefer the 8-inch. It just seems to fit in my freezer better than a longer one. And with ground meat, I can make the meat conform to the size of the bag. So let me show you how to do that. I know this probably isn't the nicest backdrop you've ever laid your eyes on, but this vacuum sealer has a cutter on it, and I use it all the time. So you turn it on. You've cut your bag to length. This one's 8-inch. I would call it 8 by 9. It's not quite square. You're going to push the seal button. That way when it senses that it's in there, it's going to bite down and seal. And so now the bars are heating up. While that's heating up, reach over here and get a handful of, I don't normally use a glass bowl, but I'm doing that so you can kind of see the process a little better. While that was sealing, you should be measuring out your meat. And make sure it's on ounces, otherwise you'll get like some weird gram looking thing. So there's 1.1, 1.6, need a couple more ounces. That's 1.82. I don't know if you can see it, but that's exactly 1.5 pounds of meat. Now that this is sealed, take your clean hand and part that bag and drop your meat down in there. You want to pack it to the bottom. It will help getting the air out, because sometimes with ground meat you will trap air bubbles in the bottom of it. So there, all the ground meat is out of the bag, and you can see if we pack it in there, we only really fill up about half the bag. And you need some. Now, I keep a paper towel right here for this reason. You could wear rubber gloves if you want. Now what I want to do is just wipe the inside of the bag just to make sure I don't have something that would interfere with this bag sealing. I'm pushing it down. I'm squeezing the air. I've got it like this. That way I can feed that in there. And you need about 3 inches to reach the sensor. Now when it starts squeezing, I'm mashing the meat a little bit to try to squeeze those air bubbles to the front. And now I'm going to leave it alone and let it seal. So it sucked the air out to a desired level. Now it's heating up the bar to seal the 2 pieces of plastic bag together. That sound means it's done. Now you could throw it in your freezer just like this. But here's the great thing about this. You want to smash this out. You want that meat to go into all the corners. That flat bag, this flat bag will fit in your freezer a whole lot better than anything else. So if you want them thinner, You would get longer pieces, but that's about a square piece of ground deer. Now, the good thing about that, when you're ready to thaw out this, since you've got it flat, you can drop this in a sink full of hot water and it will be thawed out in about 20 minutes. Because the heat can get to it from both sides and it's not having to heat the whole round log, which takes a while. You always have that hard frozen center in it. This will thaw out a lot quicker. Now, the last thing you want to do is label it. Trust me. Oh, I'll know what that is. I'm going to eat it in 2 weeks, and you don't eat it in 2 weeks, and a year and a half later, you're wondering what you got. So for date, I just put the month, which is November, the year, which is 20, so I've got 11/20. I don't have to know that it was on the 19th or 21st, just November 20th. Then you want to put what it is, and I put GD. That's short for ground deer. I would put BS for backstrap. I would put DR for deer roast. So I've got ground deer, and then some deer taste better than others. Just, I don't know why it is. Maybe it's the way we process them, when we kill them, what they were doing. I'm going to put 10 point on there, 10 PT, because the 12 point deer tasted really good. The 10 point is really good, but not as good. So I know if I'm cooking something for my wife, I want to use the 12. If I'm cooking something for everybody else that can eat deer meat like normal backwoods people, I'll just serve the 10 point. So that's my process. I will set these aside, and then I will stack these up in the freezer, and when they're soft, you can just stack them, and they will freeze solid, and you're good to go. So there you go. That's how I do ground deer in the Food Saver vacuum sealer.